I want to suggest a couple of things to you. First of all, I don't like any kind of rule that mandates where you have to tell people a lot of stuff. The following is a paid contributor. This is, I don't own this music. There's AI involved in this. This is not my real voice. I understand disclosure, and that's great, but it's like those ridiculous due to prep and options for it were prohibited. But at the end of leasing commercials, we don't know what you're saying. We don't know what that means. And once we do hear it, what are we supposed to do with it? Oh, I'm not going to get that lease. Why? Well, did you hear the third sentence of that 7 microsecond glyph blast of nothing? I mean, we're wasting our time with it. And there's a big move, I think, to let you know, we use AI in this. Okay, fine. But here's the only exception I'd like to make to this particular rule. I think there should be something, especially whenever there's any attempt to watch a Bill Maher broadcast, which is, I mean, scraping the bottom of the intellectual barrel like you can't believe. There should be a sign or a banner or something that says, warning, or be advised, the host is out of his mind on some 80% THC skunk weed ingestible or something, because the host thinks he is somehow connected to a higher level of consciousness. You're wasting your time if you're watching Bill Maher trying to explain something. If you caught recently, and by the way, God bless, I live in my world of my iPad, and there's rotations and things which are wonderful because I'm always fed this stuff. And lo and behold, and I never watched Bill Maher. And I like Bill Burr, Bill Maher, Bill Barr, Bill Maher, say that, or Burr, see Burr, Maher, Barr, Bill Barr's father, Epstein. Connection, you do the math, but perhaps that's later on. In any event, so Bill Burr was, I believe, having a stogie. And if I didn't know better, I think Bill Maher, who is, of course, uber cool, he's cool, trying to revivify, refortify, rejuvenate, resuscitate his relevance and intellectual trajectory by coming out with this absolutely this absurd ideations regarding the Middle East and Hamas. And anyway, look, it's a free country, and with that comes this. But so in any event, they're speaking, and Burr is just killing him, or as the kids would say, owning him. Just absolutely incredible. It's wonderful stuff. Bill Maher, because he's gooned, waxed, or as we say in West Tampa, beat the out on whatever the stuff he doesn't know what he's saying. And he's not following it. And I'm thinking to myself, you idiot. Because one of the things that's important, and listen, just take this on faith. I know what I'm talking about. Many of us from our particular iteration, our generation, you run across stuff, and plus we read a lot. And one of the most wonderful things about any kind of drug, sometimes alcohol, which I think is important too, but drugs, and especially people now getting into more, ayahuasca and hiawatha and DMT and ingestibles and psilocybin and, opening is. The thing that's the most important is it's not that your mind is open. It's that you believe your mind has been open. You feel that what you're saying is incredibly transformative. You feel that what you're saying is really deep. Plus, you feel that I'm understanding things. No, there's the perception of you understanding things. You're not understanding anything, but you believe you are. That's the difference between a hallucination and an illusion. An illusion is something that is there that you misperceive, kind of like the moon illusion. The reason why the moon sometimes looks huge at the horizon versus at its zenith. Okay, it's age old. Or an hallucination, which is something you see, but it's not there. So during the course of this, Bill Maher, in his And he really thinks, I mean, it's a study in self-delusion. It really is. I mean, you got to hand it to him. It's almost like it's like, I'm really smart. Yeah, Bill. No, you don't understand it. No, I mean, I'm really smart. I don't know if anybody even makes that notion anymore. I'm Cheech and Chong era stuff. But in any event, so Burr destroyed him. So I think there should be, maybe if we could have a way of hooking up to them some kind of psychometric or some neurometric, where we can see the amount of THC saturation on some kind of graph, to idea of what degree of gibberish we're going to be in store for. When Katt Williams made that incredible post Club Shay Shay piece with Joe Rogan, I like others waited for I was like, this is going to be great, because Joe even said, hey, I really like to talk to you. And say, wow, you're being summoned by the man. The man wants to see you. The old man, he wants to talk to you. Katt, you've done it now. Because let's face it, that was again, I'm using the term a lot. That was transformational when he spoke on Club Shay Shay. Still, that was, and so prescient, so vatic, so limpid, so pellucid, so absolutely oracular, Delphic in what is said. It was unbelievable. Okay. So he shows up and he gets hollowed. I mean, beat the out like you cannot, but wax gooned, gone. I don't know what they were hitting with, but Joe Rogan has the constitution of a bull elephant. I mean, I think you could give him ayahuasca with a DMT shaker, IV push, and he's fine. And all of a sudden, Katt went from, Epstein, do you know why this is? Do you know why the level of pedophilia and the Illuminati? And wow, this is great. And then we waited, and here comes Katt. After I don't know what they did, he's hollowed like you can't believe. And all of a sudden he went from, and the permutations of the iteration of the celebration and the celebration. Come on, man, don't you realize? I'm like, wow. And even Shannon Sharpe was just flummoxed and transfixed, which is not that difficult to do. But in any event, there was Katt. And it turned, he went from that to Thelonious Monk with a hangover. It was, see, that's the way it is. God is the perception of a reality that is not necessarily commensurate with what I feel to be the manifestation. I said, what are you? What? Wait a minute. No. Talk about Oprah. Talk about Steve Harvey. Talk about the whole bit. Talk about Kevin Hart. Do this. Oprah. Anything. And the deifications. Now listen, I'm not about to tell you that you should or shouldn't do drugs. My generation, we lived through the kind of references to the, Reefer Madness references. We all know the story about the DuPonts and Anslinger and Hearst and Pancho Villa and marijuana and the demonization of marijuana, and how it would unleash and uncork this paraphilic sexual violence among the Mexicans and black musicians. Remember Jimmy Buffett, and only jazz musicians were smoking marijuana, pencil thin mustache. Well, anyway, that's what they did, and that iterations. Anyway, I'm not going to do that. But if you think, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if you think that the weed, the Mary Jane, the ganja, the herb that people are imbibing in today, whatever the particular delivery system, whether it's through vaping or edibles or whatever, edibles is a whole nother story. Ask what happened to old people in the 70s when cannabinoids and all these weird these kind of a highly processed cannabinoids were condensed into one like nuclear molecule, and these old people were just, so if you think this is harmless, you are out of your mind. You are out of your mind. And do me a favor, please, to Katt and to Bill. Well, Mars. He tried the atheist thing. He figured out God. Thanks, Bill. Basically read every Snopes rejected myth, from Mithra to Apollo to Dionysus. Anyway, look, it's a free country. You can do whatever you want. God bless you. But just do us a favor. Just warn us. Just say, listen, I'm gooned. Maybe before, hello, I'm Bill Maher. What you're about to see is me, well, not at my best. I attempted to interview my good friend Bill Burr. He's smoking a Cohiba, and I'm at about a 90% saturation level of some THC hybrid that I don't know I don't even know where I am. And during the course of this, I felt kind of connected. But as you can see from this logolalic, by the way, there's some wonderful terms that we learned from the psychiatric terms: logolalia, logoria. People who word salad, kind of. You've seen this disjointed, discombobulated, much like I'm going through right now. The same way we see with Kamala Harris, pseudobulbaraphic, cacinations, hypophrenia, all these weird manifestations of detached, excessive, hyper reactions, hyper giddiness, all of that. Because basically everybody's nuts. It's just kind of a matter of degree. But watch it. And let me just leave you one thing. Bill, you don't know anything about Israel, Palestine. I don't know what the gig is. I have a feeling who might perhaps be writing your script, but you don't know anything about this. I mean, seriously, you know nothing. So stick to what you know, which is nothing. And Bill Burr, much respect, my friend. You won something. Because remember, just because somebody's a comic does not necessarily mean they know what they're talking about. Now, there were times in our generation we had people like George Carlin and Lenny Bruce and Bill Hicks, the undisputed and unheralded king of that particular genre, from Dick Gregory to Mort Saul and Will Rogers. I mean, it goes. You're not Oscar Wilde. You're not the first, but Barr, you're okay. You are very, very good at this. Okay, and not everybody is necessarily provided with the ability to wax rhapsodic anentin regarding the world of politics. I'll leave you with that. Please do me a favor, if you could. I've given you 13 minutes of my life. Please so follow me on YouTube at Lionel Nation. I've got more of this stuff. And thank you, Elon Musk, for allowing us the opportunity to do this. What you've done to open up the channels of free speech, think about it as a huge, kind of like a huge enema, unleashing and disconnecting and disentangling a huge intellectual and philosophical bezoar from our tract in any event. So follow me there. And I'd love to hear you comment as you see fit.